People who don't click the tongs before using them. How? Same with staplers. As soon as I run out I'll automatic double punch it despite knowing that it's empty already. But how many test staples do you run through when you refill it? I'm a one through. Myself. One and done. The last time I failed to check the tongs, I went to pick up a badger and they just phased right through them. I looked like such an idiot. Now I always check that they're solid before using them. I read the post as people who don't click the tongs and was really confused. Did a tongue click just in case? I lost my tongs. Did the cat eat your tongs? Cat got your tong? My tongs have rubberized ends, so it doesn't make the satisfying clack clack. It just ends up disappointing me. But you still need to do it. How do you know that they'll work if you don't do it? Yeah, same for prostitutes. Work in food service in a very busy, understaffed store where I feel like I'm grabbing tongs every 3 ducking seconds. There is no joy in my tongs. It sounds like the beginning of movie. I consciously didn't clack them one time, just to see if I could. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. To summon this kind of willpower must have been exhausting. Sometimes you feel super self-aware when you yell, "The clamps!" apostrophe. I misread this completely. Tong is the Dutch word for tongue. All I thought was who clicks their tongue before using it, and what use is this question referring to? With any unfamiliar tool, even tongs, I like to work the action dry a couple times before actually using it. I don't typically do it on my go-to pair, except inadvertently when adjusting my grip. Someone else's however, I'll definitely do it a couple times before handling food. Think of it as calibrating a bodily extension. I used to have mild OCD. I can't just click the tongs once or twice. I have clicked them a certain number of times in a certain way. To avoid this, I don't use tongs. I was recently confronted with silicone-tipped tongs that couldn't be clicked. And as a person without testicles, I imagine this is what it must be like to have blue balls. What happened to your testicles? Tong-related accident. How else can you gauge their tonginess? I'm a speedrunner and there's a glitch that lets me skip the animation. This is the same comment as the chef in a busy restaurant. It's just in a different language. Let me see them tongs. Tongs. Ta-tong. Tong. Tongs. 13 years together, and my wife still puts up with me singing this every time I use the tongs. B-A-A-A-B-Y. Those tong-ta-tong-tong tongs. How else do you know if they're working correctly? Click clack. I have really fancy tongs that were pre-clicked at the factory. Pre-clicked. The future is scary. You gotta click them to channel ear in a crab. Gotta rush to get the pasta before my dog does. The real question is same with electric drills and impact drivers. The real question is how do people resist using the electric drill or impact driver to make noises while moving like a robot? My 18V DeWalt impact driver had a little LED light on it, so I like to pretend I'm a mech warrior, usually paired with an LED headlamp. My click is functional because I gotta squeeze them together to pop the little lock out so the tongs can expand to the full width. Shower thought. Tongs are like pants. If you have a pair of tongs or a pair of pants, you only have one thing. Just like scissors, and shears, and, nunchucks I guess. I read this as tongues, and had to sit here and think about it. Now I gotta have a serious conversation with myself about my reading comprehension. Laughs in Mr. Krabs. Why do you? Does it make you feel all crabby? Tongs sound so pedestrian. I prefer their proper name, castanets. I only castanets when I'm fishing. This thread exists. My new browser history. 8 best tongs of 2020. Tendonitis. At first I thought this was just another play on words and I forgot what word we were all joking about in the first place. But then I realized, it's just tendonitis. I never click them. Neither do I. In fact, I never even knew this was a thing until this post, but I guess this is just #8463 and ways I'm a freak compared to apparently most other people. Here's another one. I have never felt hungry an hour after eating Chinese food. I too have never felt hungry after eating Chinese food, fellow human. I make the monumental leap of trust that 2 sticks on a hinge just work. Inconceivable. All this talk about tongs and restaurants reminds me of an acquaintance who owned a hot dog stand. This individual wasn't the cleanest person, and one day the health inspector showed up and was appalled by what he saw. Dirty water, moldy buns, all served by grubby hands. The inspector gave the stand owner a week to clean up, or else the stand would be shut down for good. When the inspector returned, he was amazed. Everything sparkled, and his order was filled by clean hands wielding shiny new tongs. You get to keep your business, the inspector said. But I have one question. What's that string on your fly? Apostrophe. That's for when I need the bathroom, the stand owner said. I want minimal contact, so I unzip with the string. Apostrophe. But how do you take it out and put it back? The inspector asked. That's easy. I use the tongs. Apostrophe. It is physically impossible. Agreed. It falls into the same category as sneezing with your eyes open. I can do that actually. The same way I don't click my fingers together before I go to pick something up. Why would you click your fingers though? It's not like they're tongs or something. I don't click my fingers. I move them up and down in anticipation before grabbing something. A minimum of 2 to 3 clicks are compulsory, it is known. Clicking tongs has a practical reason: calibration. You learn how much travel or how much force you need to apply to the tongs to fully close them. Anyone who doesn't isn't using them properly. Try going through boot camp. I just picture my senior drill lingering behind me ready to lay down the smack and break my back over his knee. I can still feel him breathing on my neck. I'd just give the tongs to some other trainee and watch the show. Because some people are freaks. My wife recently bought a pair of tongs with the silicone on the ends. There's no click to be had anymore. Joy has left the kitchen. Not only must I click them, but I also must do a little sideways dance while pretending I'm a crab. You have to make the Zoidberg whooping noise as you clap them around the kitchen. I always lick thongs before using them. WTF. In countries where chopsticks are preferred over forks, are tongs a thing? I have extra long heavy cooking chopsticks from when I lived in Japan, but I have tongs too. Is this a thing? I no longer am happy from the little things either. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.